Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look through challenge number 48. It's the magazine of science fiction gaming. And for our $2.50, we get an adventure for Twilight 2000, Megatraveller, and GURPS. Plus a neat cover. Oh, I love Challenge. I miss this magazine. So there we have an ad for Buck Rogers from TSR. They were pushing this hard in the late 80s, early 90s. It's going to be the next big thing. It didn't really take off. Game players, these fine game stores are your ready source for adventure games. This is provided to us by, GDW Games. Contact GAMA about membership out of San Luis Obispo, California. Let's see in Illinois what we had. Illinois Outer Limits, Dunlap Moondogs. I remember Moondogs, good comic stores, series chain of them. American Creative Games, Mount Prospect. I remember that. Graham Crackers still around. Naperville Tomorrow's Yesterday. Rockford Royal Hobby Shop. I was there one time, and I'm given to understand they're around as well. That's pretty cool. Okay, and then we go into the issue itself, and we get the table of contents. I like the way they always did the table of contents. It kind of got you going with the little side images, got you ready for what was inside, and then from the management, and then we got letters to the editor, and an ad for Silent Death from Iron Crown Enterprises, ICE. They were out of Charlottesville, Virginia. I loved Silent Death. The game itself kind of died in the very, very early 2000s. And in fact, they're not even making the ships anymore, which is a shame because I bought some off the website. Silent Death's just a fun game. I really like it. Then we have an ad or an adventure for Merc 2000 by Lauren K. Wiseman. And it's for Twilight 2000. There we go. How to be a Merc. And then you have a mission briefing. That's kind of neat. Twilight 2000, Strangers in a Strange Land by Adam Gable. That's pretty cool. We got an ad for Vortex, the new journal of science fiction and fantasy gamers. For science fiction and fantasy gamers. Vortex Publishing out of Emeryville, California. Don't know that one. Infantry Weapons for the Twilight 2000 game. A New Idea in RPG Supplements. The campaign book from White Wolf Publishing out of Anniston, Alabama. And then we have the Traveller News Service. This is what was going on in the rebellion. This is how we kept up to date. This one is dated 064-1121, 058-1121. And then we have Death Among the Stars for Megatraveller, an Agatha Christie-style murder mystery for 1 to 4 players. Death Among the Stars is set aboard a nobleman's yacht in the Solomani Rim sector. Referees can adapt it anywhere. I like Agatha Christie writing. I like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I'm more of a Holmes man myself, but I still appreciate Agatha Christie and what she brought. And I like any kind of good mystery. So I may have to take a look at this one. I love running those. I've done a couple for my players. They're tough to design and tough to pull off. That's it for Megatraveller. Then we're finishing that out. We go to an ad for American Gamer. Out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, newest gaming magazine. Invites you to celebrate our favorite pastimes in the gaming world. There you go. There's your chance. Then for Megatraveller, we have Orbit City in the Regina subsector. And they are approached by the Certus Corporation employees offered challenging and rewarding work. So it's an adventure. That's pretty neat. I don't remember this one. This issue, by the way, would have been out in early 91, sometime January, February 91. I was a new dad, and I think that's maybe why I don't remember a lot about it. I didn't get much sleep on becoming a dad. Okay, continuing that out, we have finally the Enigma, Mysterious Force, for a little strip for Traveller-esque stuff, and then Twin Engine Gaming presents Outtime Days and Space Combat from Twin Engine Gaming in San Jose, California. And Behind Blue Eyes, part 1 of a 3-part mini-campaign set in the turbulent post-rebellion hinterworlds. They expressly did not put a date on this one because it was supposed to be after the rebellion was settled. Unfortunately, we know what the rebellion turned into. The virus got released and turned into travel of the new era with virus and the fall of the civilization, etc. There we go. Continuing out, long look at it. I like it. Ending right there. And then we have an overview of the Reese system for Megatraveller. That's kind of cool. I loved getting whole system overviews. And then we have Mobius 1, science fiction gaming at its best. Wanted interstellar overlords, despots, and emperors. It's a play-by-mail out of Scottsdale, Arizona from Flying Buffalo. And then we have an adventure for 2300 AD. Naval reservists in action in 2300, so you could be a naval naval reservist. We have an ad for BashCon 91, March 8th, 9th, and 10th at the University of Toledo's Student Union Auditorium. University of Toledo, Toledo, Ohio. And then we have challenge conventions. What conventions are coming up for you in 91? Wow. Zombies of the Bayou for Dark Conspiracy. I believe that's our cover. Sure looks like zombies attacking. And here we have Zombies of the Bayou for Dark Conspiracy. I did play some Dark Conspiracy, and it's being resurrected by Mongoose Publishing. Space 1889. Never really a game I played. I was aware of it. I looked it over several times. I even talked to my players about it, but nobody was really that interested. That's just us. I'm sure it was a fine game. Then we have a listing of GDW product distribution around the world. Oh, even to West Germany. Wow. And then challenge briefs. These are just different little books that are out there that might be of interest to people who read Challenge Magazine. Share the Adventure. High Colonies. Science fiction role-playing game out of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And then we have an ad for Paper Mayhem, the informative play-by-mail game. This is out of Ottawa, Illinois. And subscribe today to 2300 Resource, quarterly journal for the 2300 gamer out of Santa Barbara, California. In the Name of Finland. This is for Shadowrun. Adventure. Yeah, I've showed this to my son, Adam. He liked to play Shadowrun in college, and he and his buddies still get together and play a little bit. They play, of course, the current version, not the version this would have been based on, but that's okay. You can adapt most of this stuff. Okay, continuing out the adventure, then we get to some ads for Air Power, the Journal of Air Combat Gaming, with emphasis on GDW's air superiority and air strike. From Air Power Publications, LaGrange, Georgia. Enlist now for a new style of adventure. Let's see. Oh yeah, from 20th Century Tactical Studies Group out of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. So you can play in some historical wargaming. This is for Call of Cthulhu, the Bayou Ritual. Never played Call of Cthulhu. Read a lot of the H.P. Lovecraft stuff, but never played it that much. The Scroll, a quarterly publication dedicated to the world of role-playing gaming. Only $10 a year from Sage Lore Productions out of Portland, Oregon. Games, comics, and books from Merlin's in Spokane, Washington. There you go. For Cyberpunk, CADS. Combat Armor Defensive System. For Cyberpunk. That's kind of neat. Hold Up at the Memory Bank, a GURPS cyberpunk adventure for 3 to 8 characters. I read some cyberpunk back in the 90s. It was good, but it was not really my cup of tea. I also played GURPS a little bit in the 90s, but I found a D4 system a little limiting. Many people love the GURPS system, and I'm not saying that they're wrong, just my opinion. Megatraveller, add an exciting new dimension to your gaming adventures with detailed starship deck plans. It's a 400-ton merchant from Seeker Game Systems. Laboratory ship, I have that one. Subsidized merchant, SDB and Jump Shuttle, Empress Murata, and Gazelle. I think I have those. And then they had for Lords of Thunder, which I absolutely do have. That's pretty cool. Comms Link Gambit. And this is for Star Trek. As if I couldn't tell from the starship. Star Trek RPG, did play that. Actually, I have to be correct on that. I did not play the Star Trek role-playing game. I played Starfleet Battles quite a bit. Actually, we did roll in a little bit of the game. One of my players and I were talking about it not too long ago, and he reminded we did play a little bit of it, but only like a session or two of the RPG. We did play Starfleet Battles. And we are the next empire. We are the future of play-by-mail gaming. And this is from Cyborg Games out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Wolf Trap for Battletech. Harrow's Sun, June 25th, 3029. The 5th Succession War, I think it was. There you go. I like Battletech. I don't play it much anymore. I used to really be into it deep. Hoplite Infantry Assault Carrier for Renegade Legion. I like Renegade Legion. I haven't played that in a long time. Interested in North American history? Canadian Wargamers Journal. Oh, you can get a free sample from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And Space Orc Tactics for Warhammer 40k. Finishing out the Space Orc Tactics, we have Challenge Reviews. Riffs from Palladium Books. And Era 10, I don't know that one. And then an ad for Megatraveller. World Builder's Handbook, Galanian Vargir, Starship Operator's Manual, 101 Vehicles from Digest Group Publications out of Boise, Idaho. I still love my Starship Operator's Manual. I only ever saw that once in the wild, and I was able to buy it. Always happy I grabbed that when I did. And then we have Challenge Classifieds for stuff in the area, or I'm sorry, some stuff you might want to send away for, or contact people, or some fanzines, that kind of thing. And then we have IHC's Rocco Mini Tanks, Half the Battles Won from International Hobby Corp, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Sci-fi freestyle role-playing games by Better Games, Battleborn. Better Games from Burbank, California, and Voyages SF. Can't get enough ideas in your campaign. It's a quarterly, highly illustrative magazine. I may have an issue with 2 of those that laying around. From Starlines Publications out of Mesa, Washington. And then we have the challenge feedback for this issue. The feedback results from issue 46. I just thought it was interesting that they did this. And then for next issue, we are promised Twilight 2000, Megatraveller, 2300 AD, and Space 1889. And we have an inside ad for DNA DOA and Street Samurai catalog for Shadowrun. That's pretty cool. And then the back ad, afraid you'll miss the next issue of Challenge? Subscribe today. And I've said before that I had an arrangement with my local hobby store. I bought a lot of my modules and such off of there. I had a deal with them that they would get one of these issues in for me every month. In fact, they usually got 2 or 3. But that way, by this time, I was kind of set up and not missing an issue. But that's all I've got to say about challenge number 48 today on page 121. Let me know what you think. Did you like challenge when it was out? I did. I sure love it. I miss it every month. I miss challenge. Well, it wasn't even monthly, but I miss it a lot. But leave your comments below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Tell your friends. Let's grow the channel. Also take a look at Patreon. See if you can help me out there. But that's all I've got today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.